Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, fellow acolytes and Factorio interested people. I'm back so soon. There was an update for the planner mod, and yeah, to show you again how to use your planner mod, I thought I should update my video a little bit because the new UI is not the same as it was before. The functionality is the same, but it looks a little bit more different. So let's just dive right in. You bring up the planner interface as always via your short key or via clicking on the planner interface, and then you click let me delete that. Wait. You click the little plus button here to add a new production line. So far so good. And you also choose your time which you want to calculate with, right? So this is just the same as before. You select your base time. Most of the time I'll use just the 1 second time, but the 1 minute and the 5 minute time bases also have their use cases, but you can switch in between them anyways. All right, so let's just stay at 1 second. Of course, we add a recipe. Let's say I want to make sulfuric acid, right? So I'm gonna look. Here you can filter by product or by ingredients, but I'm just gonna filter by product because I actually want to make sulfuric acid. Depending on your mods, sometimes the filter just does not choose the correct category. So here we are in the barrel category, but I want to make the sulfuric acid just as is. So I move over to the actual sulfuric acid and click on it, right? So now you might ask, hey, where is the compute by factory gone, right? Because earlier you could tick off a little box where you could compute by factory. This is now in the production line block. So after picking your resource, you can click on the output and say, hey, I want 60 liters of sulfuric acid per second because that's our base time. Okay, there you go. And from there on out, you can just select your needed resources. So if you're new to the planner mod, this is your interface, and if you already had the old planner mod, you see there's now a new and shiny symbols here. Alright, so what do we need to make sulfuric acid? We need sulfur dioxide gas and purified water. And if we want to make 60 sulfuric acid per second, we need 90 sulfur dioxide gas per second and 40 purified water per second. Alright, so let's just go through this production line to make a point here. So as you can see, as soon as you click on the ingredients, your production block changes a little bit, right? So we need sulfur dioxide gas. This time we are in the correct category, so you can just click, you don't have to search. And we are going to do this with sulfur and oxygen, right? So just add that to the mix, and most of the time I'll follow one of the ingredients until I'm done with this ingredient, then start the next ingredient, because the calculation is based on rows, and if you just put in a purified water row now, that's just not very not very nice to look at, because you want to focus on one ingredient than the other, but that's yours to choose. So right, we need sulfur for that, and I think I had it like that I did water treatment. So I add also my water treatment plant, the hydro plant, which makes the sulfur. So right now we can see we need 1.5 sulfur per second, and I think I'll keep it as that because the sulfuric wastewater can come from many processes, and I don't want to go deeper because that's probably 3 more lines. Right, let's go to oxygen. Oxygen I can get from the electrolyzation of purified water. Now you can see we need 40 purified water and 225 purified water, but with the sulfuric wastewater purification, which I'm doing to get sulfur, I also get 105 purified water already per second. So if I click on either of those purified water symbols and go with water purification, there you can see it automatically calculates that. So we only need 160 purified water, and we will also produce some saline water. And this means we need 240 water, which is which you can just get by your normal standard offshore pump, right? Right. So now you got your overview of what resources you need. Now you can go through your factories. Maybe you want to plan a recipe and you don't have the maximum tier of your factories, so you can also say, okay, I only have access to chemical plants Mark II. And let's go through here. See, so now the number changed from 1 chemical plant Mark IV to 2 chemical plants Mark IV. In my current factory I only have hydro plants Mark II. And here you can see we need 4 electrolyzer Mark IV. I only have access to Mark II. And so the number changed to 6. Alright, and we also only got access to hydro plant Mark II again. So the number changes accordingly. In the energy row you can see how much energy you need, but more on that later. Alright, so now the age-old question, which I touched on earlier again, where is the computing by factory now? Okay, so you just click on your row again on the recipe symbol, right? And you click it 2 times to get to the new production block. So back to your production block basically. And then you can just select compute by factory and say, I've got a factory number of 1. Now you can see the numbers changed a little bit according to the number of factories we selected, 1 factory. So now the recipe is getting calculated not by the amount of output we wanted to have, but by the amount of factories we have, right? So it's not 60 sulfuric acid per second anymore, it is 67.5, and all the values changed accordingly. The factory number is only always given for the top row, so for your main recipe, right? So if you double click here and go back to the production block, you can say factory number 2, and it still will only change your top row because this is what you want to make. So right now we've got our 135 instead of 67.5 sulfuric acid per second. So up to power. Power still the same, so you've got your production block which says 5.8 megawatts of power are needed, and if you go back to power, and you can just mix and match your power generating systems. So for example, I don't know, let's say you have steam engines Mark II and you want to make your 5.8 megawatts, power is always in megawatts, then it says to you, hey, you need 4 steam engines Mark II, and that's it. Not much more to it. The resources overview will show you how many ingredients you need. So in this case we go from sulfuric wastewater to make all the other stuff. So this is just for the base ingredients. So from the sulfuric wastewater I make my sulfur, and from the water I make purified water, and I also separate the water or electrolyze it into oxygen and hydrogen, which I use to make the sulfuric acid in the end, right? Like for example with this electronic circuit board system, let's see, we've got a little bit more base resources. All right, So I think that's it. I never use the statistics and administration tabs too much. I'll just plan out on my products here. So yeah, that's how you use the planner. Alright, so I hope this updated video helped you understand the updated version of the planner mod for Factorio, or Helmod as it's also called. And if you're new to the planner mod, then I hope this video helped you understand the basics of this mod, and you can now go and plan all your base. It's like a whole new game in itself to make these plans. It's quite nice. Alright, I thank you all for watching. Have a nice day, do take care, and bye bye.